Hello! I hope you're ready today to get started and go right into it because we're going to take it slow and gentle. We're going to be holding poses for a long time, so just make sure you're paying attention to your body. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to start out in sitting style, where basically I'm going to turn around so you can see. You want your toes, your big toes to be touching, and you're going to bring your knees together and sit down on your heels. So your feet are kind of coming out a little bit behind you, and they're just touching right here, and we're going to sit there. So I'll turn back around. You can see all angles. So toes together, sitting. Now this is really, really intense or bad on your knees. Take a block. Go ahead, put it in between right before your toes, sit up on it. If not, go ahead, sit back. We're just going to be here for a second. Today, what we're working on is actually kind of the pelvic floor. We're going to be strengthening a little bit. The pelvic floor is kind of a difficult area to work out, and I think it gets neglected a lot. You really need it when you're standing and things like that. And it actually is underneath of your two hip bones that come together, and it holds all your guts in. So it's very important to maintain. So we're going to take a little time, stretch it, and strengthen it right now. So nice and gentle. Hold this for a few more seconds. Of course, again, if it's intense, lean forward. But we want to sit up nice and tall. Hold on to the pose. Try to relax into the intensity for some of us. Breathing always. Nice and gentle. Just a couple more breaths. Alright, your next exhale, just go ahead and walk your hands forward. Maybe shake out the feet. And we're going to come forward onto our backs. So go ahead and lay down with control, nice and slow. And what we're going to do is like a side version of Happy Baby. So just one side at a time. We've done this before. So bring up the left foot, reach through the center, grab onto the sole of the foot, try to be in the middle. If you can only reach the toes, maybe hold on to the ankle. And we're going to bring that down into the armpit, nice and straight and up. And we're going to be here for a little bit. So if this gets too intense, you can't hold it, go ahead and relax it down. But part of the thing that we're trying to get to is the tension sort of between your hand and the foot, wanting to relax all the way down, and your lower body sort of pulling back. That will help strengthen the pelvic floor a little bit. And just remember to breathe, because this can be really intense. Deep breaths, nice and slow. And remember, your low back should be on the ground. You can energize through your right leg to kind of pull back against that if your body's trying to lift up and curve the spine. Just keep going, nice and gentle. You might start to shake a little bit, but as long as it's not too intense, just stay there, maintain. Any emotions that come up, just breathe them away, let them go out into the world. Part of the reason to do a slow stretch like this is for that detox, to get in deep to your hips, release some more of that negative energy. And for me, it's an ongoing process. You don't just loosen up your hips one time and you're good, it's gone. Sometimes there's layers, and the longer we do this, the more you're going to find new things, which is part of the reason I chose to do this for 30 days and not just 7 or something, because we're going to keep getting a little bit deeper, and we're going to find new things, new emotions, new memories that all need to go back into the world, because they don't define us. Alright, inhale, exhale, let that one down. Take a breath, maybe have a little wiggle. And we're going to go into the other side. So inhale, bring the foot up, reach through. Hold on to the center of the foot. Go ahead and relax that back in. I like to flex my foot that's extended as well, because I think it gives me a little bit more stability, but you might find something else works for you. And, feel free to do that. It's about where you are in your journey. You're breathing. You want to let that that raised leg relax, but not to the point where you're compromising your body. Adjust, maybe push your foot back against your hand a tiny bit if you're getting a little bit too deep into it, the stretch is getting too intense. You can help compensate for that. And again, just embrace the shake. Breathing really deeply. Okay, so we're going to get ready to go out of it. Take a minute, extend both legs, wiggle around, and we're going to bring the soles of our feet together for a second for Sukhasana. Just a couple breaths here. Let the knees splay out. Oh, I'm sorry, I said Sukhasana. I mean cobbler's pose. So bring your feet together. We're not done yet. Just let the knees go, the hips relax for a second. Let go of that tension. If you're tensing anything, you gotta relax it. Breathe it out. Okay, we're gonna bring the knees together. And we're gonna go ahead, bring the low back down on the ground, and we're gonna go into full happy baby. And we are gonna hold it for a little bit. And normally I'd say, rock back and forth, but this time we're gonna try to kind of hold it still, keep the low back on the ground. Bring the knees back towards the armpit. Hold on to the insides of the feet. And just breathe. Now again, you want that tension sort of between your lower body and your feet, which are extending out. Because that's going to strengthen the pelvic floor and the groin muscles. Make you a little bit stronger. This is really good if you do stand a lot. Because you use your pelvic floor to stand, but we so often don't get to work out, and if you're doing like a lot of squats and things, you can really compromise it. So you want to take a little time, pay attention to this area of your body. And I guess if you are having any problems with your pelvic floor, I would make sure with your doctor that it's okay for you to be doing this, or you engage. And again, if you feel any kind of pain, any kind of problem, get right out of the stretch. Take a Sukhasana, lay on your back, take a break. Because this is intense, no matter how flexible you are, no matter how strong you are. Couple more breaths here. We're almost through. Inhale and exhale. We're going to let our feet come down. Come up onto your elbows. We'll windshield wiper the legs. Just kind of do some of that intense feeling. We're going to come up, put your hands in front, walk back in on all fours. We're just going to wiggle that for a second. Walk the hands a couple inches in front. Take a hip circle or two, whatever you feel like you need right now. just got a couple more poses. So what we're gonna do now, come back into tabletop, and we're gonna take the left leg behind the right and then sit back. So this could be really intense, and we're not gonna stay here as long as the others, but you might want a block to sit on. And you want, turn this way. You want your feet to come out to either side. So you don't want to be sitting on your feet at all. I'm going to use a block today, feeling a little stiff. And your feet should be stacked. So once you get here and you're comfortable, sit up nice and tall, and we're just going to lean forward. So you might just be leaning a tiny, tiny bit. You might be able to get all the way down, laying over your feet or your knees, and that's fine. Wherever you're at, take a little stretch. We're not going to stay here as long as the other ones. Just 3 breaths. One more breath. I'm going to go ahead and walk forward. I'm going to move that block while you switch your legs. Tabletop. Bring one foot over, other one behind, so that when you sit back, your knees are stacked. Sit up, adjust those feet out. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, forward. Again, just 3 breaths here. And then we're gonna do our final pose before we go into Savasana. One more breath. Go ahead and walk forward. So now we're going to take that froggy pose, and maybe you want a little extra padding for your knees, maybe you're okay. So we're just going to come on all fours and walk the knees out to the sides of the mat, probably wider than the mat, depending on where you're at. Just walk them out till you feel comfortable. Make sure that your shin is at a 9-degree angle and your ankle is right behind your knee. And we're just going to go ahead and lower down. Feel free if you really want to be on your elbows, but you need to bend your legs. It's awkward to grab a block, be up there, or come all the way down. And we're going to stay here for a little bit. It's important not to jerk around here, not to make any sudden movements. Just take your time. If you want to come out of it, if it's too intense, just crawl forward onto your belly. Really feel like a frog here. Take some breaths. Feel that stretch. This will really open up the hips. Take your time. Let your belly drop down if you're feeling it. You don't have to be super tense. Just relax. Down into those hips. Nice and slow. If you do feel yourself being able to get a little bit deeper, embrace that, but move very slowly and extending your knees farther. Nice and loose. Breathe in really deeply. Alright, we're going to go ahead and come out of this. So come up onto your hands and just tilt the hips forward, walk out of it. Real slow and gentle. Safest way to come out. We're going to go ahead and lay down on our backs. With your exhale, bring your knees into your chest. Deep breath. Exhale, squeeze. We're just going to rotate around a little bit, massage the low back for a second. Go ahead and reverse that circle. Okay, and we're just going to do one little exercise, 5 on each side, for the pelvic floor. So what you want to do, you don't need to worry about keeping your back flat. You want to be natural with it, however you kind of fall on there. Just make sure your shoulder blades are down your spine. and not stuck up on the ground. You want to take your hands to your hips so you can feel this. So you don't want your hips to tilt from either side. And what you're going to do is we'll start on the right side. So keep your left leg up, nice and straight, like you have a book or a block bounce on there. And we're going to drop this knee down towards the ground. But you only want to go as far towards the ground as you can keep this leg straight without moving your hips at all. So that's why it's good to keep your hand on there so you can tell if your hips are moving. So we're just going to drop onto the pinky toe edge of the foot, bring the leg down, and then exhale, lift back up. Inhale. That's 2. Really focusing on keeping this leg straight. That's most important. That's where you're getting the strength. And breathing. Okay, so one more. We're going to go onto the other side, so bring your hand down onto that hip. Maybe resettle yourself, and we're just going to keep it as straight as we can. Go ahead, turn onto the pinky toe side. Still breathing. You're up to 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead, bring the soles of the feet together, let the legs open up for a second. One deep breath. Exhale. Extend the feet out long. Let them fall on either side. We're going to go ahead and rest. Now we do the Savasana. Turn your hands up. And we're going to go ahead and take a few deep breaths here. So inhale deep. Exhale all the air away. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers and toes. Bring your arms up over your head. Go ahead and roll over onto your side and sit up. So hopefully that wasn't too intense with the slow stretching. I hope that you feel like you maybe strengthen your pelvic floor, you release some more tension by doing a little bit deeper stretch. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.